George Washington was born on Pope's Creek in Westmoreland, Virginia, on February 22nd, 1732. He fought in the French and Indian War, returning to his home, Mount Vernon, where he built a life on more than 8,000 acres of land. An innovative farm, grist mill, distillery producing 11,000 gallons of rye whiskey. In 1775, he was commissioned to lead the Continental Army, battling the British, ultimately bringing about the defeat of Cornwallis at Yorktown, ending the Revolutionary War. Washington's words were, "We are either a united people or we are not. If the former, in all matters of general concern, act as a nation. If we are not, let us no longer act a farce by pretending to it." My mother was the most beautiful woman I ever saw. All I am, I owe to my mother. I attribute all my success in life to the moral, intellectual, and physical education I received from her. Be courteous to all, but intimate with few, and let those few be well tried before you give them your confidence. However political parties may now and then answer popular ends, they are likely in the course of time and things to become potent engines by which cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men will be enabled to subvert the power of the people and to usurp for themselves the reins of government, destroying afterwards the very engines which have lifted them to unjust dominion. To encourage literature and the arts is a duty which every good citizen owes to his country. But as the Revolutionary War came to end, there was talk of mutiny for poorly paid soldiers of the cause. Washington needed to bring wise counsel to his men. And Washington's words were, "While I give you these assurances, let me entreat you, gentlemen, on your part, not to take any measures which, viewed in the calm light of reason, will lessen the dignity and sully the glory you have hitherto maintained." As you respect the rights of humanity, and as you regard the military and national character of America, express your utmost horror and detestation of the man who wishes to overturn the liberties of our country and who wickedly attempts to open the floodgates of civil discord and deluge our rising empire in blood. You will permit me to put on my spectacles, for I have not only grown gray, but almost blind in the service of my country. By thus determining and thus acting, you will pursue the plain and direct road to the attainment of your wishes. You will, by the dignity of your conduct, afford occasion for posterity to say, when speaking of the glorious example you have exhibited to mankind, had this day been wanting, the world had never seen the last stage of perfection to which human nature is capable of attaining. The great general was vulnerable. His men were moved. There was no mutiny. Our nation began, and George Washington returned to Mount Vernon to work the land. But he was called upon again with presidential beckoning. he answered the call, and Washington's words were, among the vicissitudes incident to life, no event could have filled me with greater anxieties than that of which the notification was transmitted by your order and received on the 14th day of the present month. On the one hand, I was summoned by my country, whose voice I can never hear but with veneration and love, from a retreat which I had chosen with the fondest predilection as the asylum of my declining years, a retreat which was rendered every day more necessary as well as more dear to me by the addition of habit to inclination and of frequent interruptions in my health to the gradual waste committed on it by time. All I dare hope is that if, in executing this task, I have been too much swayed by the confidence of my fellow citizens, and have thence too little consulted my incapacity as well as disinclination for the weighty and untried cares before me, my error will be palliated by the motives which misled me, and its consequences be judged by my country. So Washington served, and served well as the first president of this nation. When he turned down the opportunity to serve a third term, Washington's words were, "In offering to you, my countrymen, these counsels of an old and affectionate friend, I dare not hope they will make the strong and lasting impression I could wish. That they will control the usual currents of the passion, or prevent our nation from running the course which has hitherto marked the destiny of nations. But if I may even flatter myself that they may be productive of some partial benefit, some occasional good, that they may now and then recur to moderate the fury of party spirit, to warn against the mischiefs of foreign intrigue, to guard against the impostures of pretended patriotism. This hope will be a full recompense for the solicitude for your welfare by which they have been dictated." George Washington died on December 14, 1799. There were 317 slaves at Mount Vernon. 123 owned by George Washington were stipulated in his will to be freed upon his wife's death. Neither George nor Martha could free the remaining dower slaves by law. Upon her death, those slaves would revert to the estate of her first husband and be divided among her grandchildren. 153 slaves at Mount Vernon were part of this dower property. George Washington had a will, and Washington's words were, "Upon the decease of my wife, it is my will and desire that all the slaves which I hold in my own right shall receive their freedom." And I do moreover most solemnly enjoin it upon my executors to see that this clause respecting slaves be religiously fulfilled at the epoch at which it is directed to take place without evasion, neglect, or delay, after the crops, which may then be on the ground, are harvested. The unfortunate condition of the persons whose labor in part I employed has been the only unavoidable subject of regret. To make the adults among them as easy and as comfortable in their circumstances as their actual state of ignorance and improvidence would admit, and to lay a foundation to prepare the rising generation for a destiny different from that in which they were born, afforded some satisfaction to my mind, and could not, I hoped, be displeasing to the justice of the Creator. The composer of the notes which fall upon your ears was a black man, Samuel Coleridge Taylor, from the British land from whence our nation birthed. The man whose words I share as the great forefather of our democracy, George Washington, was a white man born into the United States he was to help create. I am a contemporary biracial man born in New York, raised in Pennsylvania, and living a life in Michigan. This is the American Rhapsody. And Washington's words were, "But lest some unlucky event should happen unfavorable to my reputation, I beg it may be remembered by every gentleman in the room that I this day declare with the utmost sincerity, I do not think myself equal to the command I am honored with." Washington's last spoken words were, "'Tis well,